fights with passion, and he inspires.
Are you ready for a war?
All right, welcome back to From Arbitration. And I indeed have a long episode today. I'm not jiving. I got a long episode today. I was going to do the second part to last week's episode on Monday, but I had a removal, an arbitration that they had said was going to be pre-arbed. Of course, you still work on those things until you get it signed. But that Monday, I was notified that management was not going to agree to the pre-arb on this removal. So I had to get back into that removal. All right. And so I was not able to get back into that second part of my last week's episode. And so, I'm going to do that today, cover a few other things. Then after this, I'm going to talk to several more members of the CLC, and I'm going to put that out. And then at 8, I have a young man that I'm going to be on his YouTube channel. It's JH. He's going to call me at 8. He's live streaming that at 8 o'clock. So I got a busy day today. This will be my last episode until 2 weeks. All right. I will not do one next Sunday. Y'all know how I feel about Christmas. I shut everything down week of Christmas. And so next week, I will not have an episode, and then I will be back the following Sunday. All right. And so we're going to do it that way. So today I'm going to do some shout outs. We're going to talk a little bit more about that 16.7 stuff that come out because it's going crazy. We're going to keep addressing that. I'm going to talk about pressure. When I'm the director of city delivery, we're going to put pressure on management. I'm going to talk about pressure that we should be putting on the Postal Service. They're under a lot of pressure right now. A lot of pressure. The Postmaster General is getting shellacked up on the Hill. And so I think that we should be involved with that, putting pressure on the Postal Service. And we do that through the public, especially with people talk about privatizing. People are scared to death. President Trump's talking about privatizing. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well, okay? So it's going to be a long episode. It is. So, and then I'll have another episode talking to more of the CLC, and then that gentleman I'll be on with him at 8. So let's do some shout outs. I was supposed to have done these a couple of weeks ago, and damn, I've been busy. All right. And so here's one. Hey, I would like to ask for a shout out to Branch 5521, Steward Ryan James Elliott. He's a beast at our office of over 100 carriers and genuinely cares about his people. He's our Corey Walton. Fantastic. This year, a few of us newer carriers gave him a card with a gift, and he said he had never received anything like this before. He deserves recognition for protecting all of our jobs and being our friend. So, absolutely. Good for you, my man. Steward Ryan James Elliott, Branch 5521. There's your shout out from your people. And there's nothing quite like it. Let me tell you, any position you have with the union is the most unappreciated thing that you'll do. Most of the times, as an advocate, especially when you do a removal and you win, you won't hear anything from the person that you spend a majority of your life the last 2-3 weeks trying to find anything and everything to help this individual out. You'll hear nothing from them. Not a peep, not a thank you, not a kiss my ass, nothing. So being in the union, being a shop steward, Formal A, DRT especially, advocate, it's a thankless job. So it is good to get somebody to say, hey, man, this dude's a beast. Give him a little love. And so there you go, my man. Steward Ryan James Elliott, thank you, brother, for everything you do for our people. Here's something. Sunday, 12/22/24, Branch 496, Richmond, Virginia, is having a vote no contract rally at 1801 Brook Road, Richmond, Virginia at 3 p.m. So Sunday, 12/22/24, Branch 496 in Richmond, Virginia, is having a vote no contract rally at 1801 Brook Road, Richmond, Virginia at 3 p.m. All right, so everybody get out there and say no to this shitty-ass tentative agreement. Also, Mallory and Cole are helping Badmouth Morris with his episodes on the CCA Corner. and they will just download those onto from Aid Arbitration website, okay? And I will let y'all know when those are up. I believe that's going to be on Wednesdays, either every Wednesday or every other Wednesday. But they are helping Badmouth Morris with everything as far as editing and stuff like that to put that up for the CCAs. Got a lot of great response from that, from the CCA corner with Badmouth Morris. So that was very encouraging. We need to motivate them and organize them to stand up to this administration who has forgotten about them, right? And so, yeah, Mallory and Cole, thank you. They helped me more than y'all know. I would not be able to do most of the stuff that I do if it wasn't for them. And so thank you for helping Badmouth Morris with that CCA corner. Like I said, I think maybe one will be up this Wednesday. Don't know. Kind of getting conflicting reports from that, but I'll let you know. I'll let you know when it's up, okay? And that way the CCAs will have somebody that can kind of help them, mentor them, and then there'll be other people as well come on. Because like I said, we need to get behind them and motivate them and organize them, the CCA. I want to talk a little bit about this the 16-7 stuff that's going on. Now, I do know that Eddie Davidson, Region 9 business agent, came out the next day with a fantastic grievance starter on that, information requests, contentions, and stuff like that, arguments to make. I think every business agent's office should do that. I think that that's their responsibility. Unfortunately, most of them have their head up Renfro's ass, and so they don't know what to do because they're not being told what to do. But Eddie is a bulldog, and so he has put that out next day. I've got it, but I'm not going to put it out because I hadn't asked permission to do so. I'll reach out to him if he says yes, or somebody from his office says yes, you can use it. I'll put it out, but it's very good. They're going after us right now. I've got something that I'm going to read to you, kind of their play, and that way you'll know kind of. And I'll put this up. Somebody sent me this, but it's also all over the internet. I'll put this up on from8arbitration.com. Print this whole thing out, put it in your file. That thing that I talked about last week, print that out, put it in your file. All right, because they're coming after us. You've not heard anything from your president, which to me, something headquarters comes out with nationally, what they're doing. Your president should immediately come out and address it. Right? Instead, I don't know where he's at. I know he's having some Zoom meetings and WebExes and shit like that, but management is after us right now. Like I said, they smell blood in the water with us, and so they're after us. So here's this thing that they came out with, and you got 27 vice presidents of some different kind of thing that's going to come out with this thing that they're talking about. This CRDO safety engagement. All right. And so it's 32 pages. And we're going to cover just a little bit of it because this is their mindset. Remember, local management, you can have the IQ of an acorn to do their job. Really. You don't have to be, you could be bagging groceries and come in and be a station manager at the Postal Service. You can have the IQ of an acorn and come in here and do their job because they're told what to do every second of the day. They come in, they'll sit at a computer, they get on telecons, and they tell upper management will tell them how many people they can bring in, how many routes they need to split, what's going to happen every second of the day. All they do is bark out orders. That's it. What they're told, they'll tell us. They have, back in the day, you never heard of this. They actually managed, supervised. Now it's upper management. It's probably the reason it's failing so bad is because ops and all that shit who are incompetent as fuck. Ops is the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet. It's because they have never done our job. They couldn't do our job. They don't understand the contract. All they worry about is numbers. Everything is numbers. You can't run a business like that, especially one with a collective bargaining. And so ops will tell them all these things to do. They'll consistently violate the contract. Then they'll blame local management for fucking things up, and really all they're doing is following orders. So I could go get a stick of wood and bring it in, and they could be a supervisor or manager because you don't have to have any intelligence. That's not a shot at them. It's just true. I mean, they'll tell you. Every step of the way, every second of the day, they're told what to do. And so here's these dumb fucks from headquarters. They sent this thing out to every manager, every supervisor, okay? It says, every safe choice we make on the road is one step closer to bringing everyone home. Accidents are on the rise during the past 3 fiscal years in all 4 areas. Since fiscal year 22, accidents increased 10.26% over 2 years. Accidents, fatalities, and motor vehicle accidents, moving vehicle accidents remain stubbornly consistent from fiscal year 22 to fiscal year 24. Motor vehicle accidents have risen 15.64% since fiscal year 22. Opportunities by day of week. MSOT observations will take place on Monday and Friday. So MSOT observations will take place Monday and Friday, effective Friday, 12/3. Accidents by day of the week, and they've got every day and how many accidents they've had on the day. Now, here's another dumb shit, the safety plate. Now, here's another, he's a field operations support, okay? So ain't no telling how much money he gets paid to not do shit. POD safety blitz, standard work instruction. A standard work instruction flow was created as a guide for PODs to complete employee safety engagement observations and identify opportunity routes based on 3 opportunity buckets: DMOS, MSOT, and radar. Pod safety blitz, standard work instructions, include steps to guide POD action should an egregious infraction, i.e. vehicle running unattended, no seatbelt while driving, distracted driving occur. 9-step follow-up process outlined. And it's got the outline there for you, but it's so small I can't read it. I'm blind as shit. Safety dashboard. Team leads identify top opportunity officers by district to schedule PODs. PODs complete E2E assessment followed by MSOT observations on the street. Prior to conducting MSOT, gather local management's contact information for potential escalation purposes when leaving the unit. Unattended running vehicle. Look for the carrier to turn off the engine of the vehicle prior to exiting. Observe the carrier removing the keys from the ignition. Check for the carrier visually confirming the vehicle is in park and setting the handbrake. Make sure the carrier exits the vehicle and locks it. Verify that the carrier has completed all these steps before walking away from the vehicle. Now, if they're telling these people to come out here and treetop us, with my grievance that I'm going to file, because I'm going to file any grievance where they have put me off on 16.7, obviously, I'm going to put in there that you're spying on me and using covert techniques because you did not alert me that you're following me. You got that great decision from Arbitrator Wolitz where she talks about that, where management sat across the street when this person was eating lunch. And then when he came out, they came and said, hey, we've been over here watching you. And you expended your lunch. She said, hey, that's fruit of a poison tree. Can't do that. You should have identified yourself and told them that they're being watched. You can't treetop me. You can't spy on me or use covert techniques. So any grievance I'm filing with this, when they're doing that, I'm going to put in there section 134 of the M39 handbook, right? I always say, if an arbitrator is looking for something to hang their hat on, I'm going to get them a lot of hooks, all right? I'm going to give them a lot of hooks to hang that hat on. And so that's one of them. If you're going to say, hey, if you see a carrier, sit back, watch. Keep watching them until we can find them doing something wrong and put them off the clock. I got a problem with that. I think most arbitrators will as well. No seatbelt. Look for the carrier to buckle up before starting the vehicle and driving away. Observe whether the carrier is wearing a lap and shoulder belt, which is more effective in spreading the force of a crash over a wide area of the body and protecting the head and upper body. Check whether the carrier is using the seatbelt properly. Both lap belt and shoulder strap required when traveling to and from route. Both lap belt and shoulder strap required when traveling through intersections. Both lap belt and shoulder strap required to be worn at all times except for box-to-box delivery. Make sure the carrier is not simply placing the seatbelt behind their back without actually wearing it. Verify that the carrier has kept their seatbelt on while driving and has not unbuckled it while the vehicle is in motion. Distracted driving. Look for the carrier to be using their cell phone while driving, such as texting, making calls, or using social media. Observe whether the carrier is looking at something outside the vehicle for a prolonged period, such as an accident or people in other cars. Check if the carrier is eating, drinking, or smoking while driving. Make sure the carrier is not engaging in any other activities that take their attention away from driving. Look for signs that the carrier is not paying attention to the road, such as drifting from their lane, sudden braking or accelerating, or running red lights or stop signs. Call to action. In the event a POD employee observes any of the following: observation of unattended running vehicle, observation of employee not wearing a seatbelt, observation of employee with distracted practices while operating a vehicle on duty, fingering mail or searching for mail, wearing headphones, earbuds, utilizing cell phone. I'll say that one again. Observation of employee with distracted practices while operating a vehicle on duty, fingering or searching for mail, wearing headphones, earbuds, utilizing cell phone. So they're saying that just by wearing a headphone, you're distracted. I don't know that any arbitrator in the country is going to agree with that. I don't think that, because if I wear earmuffs during the winter, if it's freezing cold and I've got earmuffs on, are you going to put me on 16.7 for that? That doesn't mean I'm distracted, right? So, but that's important because I do have people being put on 16.7 for having an earbud in while delivering apartment buildings, while standing at cluster boxes. And I'll give you an example of that in just a second. Also, a scanner message came out, and I'm going to send that to Mallory, where it also reinforces that position I just took, okay? Because they are putting carriers off the clock that are doing cluster boxes, standing there, saying that you have your earbud in. This says specifically, observation of fingering or searching for mail, wearing headphones, earbud, utilizing cell phone while operating a vehicle on duty. All right. So we'll use this against them. Now, all of this I'm going to grieve and say none of it should be being done, but that will defeat their entire thing is if you're being put off the clock for standing in an apartment building. POD will immediately stop employee, identify themselves. POD will ask employee to shut off vehicle, remove key from ignition, and wait for further instruction. POD will contact local office EAS and request immediate on-location support. Now, as soon as they show up and they walk up to me and identify themselves, I'm going to ask for a shop steward. Nothing more. I'm going to ask for a shop steward. All right? Make sure stewards tell all your carriers. And I told all of my carriers, if you're approached on the street by anybody, ask for a steward. Do not answer any questions. I'm not going to hand them anything. All right? Now, if they want the keys, they can have the keys, but I'm not handing them a license. I'm not handing them shit until I have my steward out there with me. Why? Because they're going to start taking pictures. They're going to start taking notes. They're going to start doing all this shit that they're going to use against you in this 16.7 file. I want to make sure that my steward is out there to protect me and help me. Make sure that I'm being done properly. Okay? So I'm going to ask for a steward. They can't say, hey, you don't need a steward. It's not going to lead to discipline. Bullshit. You're fixing to tell them to put me off the clock. So that is discipline in accordance with 16.7 and National Arbitrator Richard Mittenthal. Okay? He stated that EP, when it deals with discipline, still must meet the just cause provisions, which means it falls under Article 16. That's the reason there is a 16 in front of the 0.7. 16 deals with discipline, right? So if there's a 16, anything, it deals with discipline. So I have a 16.7, which means it is in fact discipline. So I'm going to ask for a shop steward immediately, and I will not answer a single question. They can do whatever they're going to do. They're going to do it anyway because they're being told to by headquarters. And I'll show you that in just a second. All right. Make sure the carriers are asking for a shop steward because you're fixing to be put off the clock. I want my shop steward present. If they don't furnish a shop steward, I'm going to ask that anything that is collected against me before I was put off the clock is inadmissible, impermissible in any file. All of that to me is fruit of a poison tree. Every bit of it. If I ask for a steward, you say no, and you take pictures and you ask questions and you do all this shit before I put off the clock. I'm going to say, I asked for a steward to protect me. That's the reason I pay dues. I pay a lot of money to my union, my agent, to protect me, and they denied me that right. They denied me the right to have a steward present while I was being questioned, while I was being interrogated, while they were taking pictures, while they were getting information against me. All of that's fruit of a poison tree, Mr. Arbitrator. I'm going to ask that not one bit of that evidence be admissible. And that's exactly what I'm going to say. All right. So the second they get out there, ask for your shop steward. Escalation process for PM unavailability. So if the postmaster is not available. Prior to conducting MSOT, gather local management's contact information for potential escalation purposes when leaving the unit. So they're going out there with the intent to capture people, right? To spy on us, to use covert techniques against us. All of this is a setup, every bit of it. So put all of these in your file. Escalation process if the postmaster manager doesn't answer the phone. A, contact local unit postmaster manager. Contact the MPU. Contact the DM, PCs, postmaster. So they want everybody contacted because I was driving around with an earbud in. The district manager, everybody. Now you got motherfuckers that don't do nothing all damn day. They won't crack an egg all damn day. They won't do the first damn thing. But they're going to call the postmaster, the MPU, the head, the local postmaster, the supervisor, station manager. All these people are going to be notified if they're driving down the street and see me with an earbud in, even if I'm not using it. But you'll have these dumb fucks sitting at a desk all day long, not doing the first damn thing. We don't hate them enough is our problem. I hate them. I do hate them enough. We don't hate them enough as a union. We're fixing to. In 26, we will hate them enough. I'll be a low down son of a bitch in 26, man. They're going to hate my fucking guts. And good. I want it. I want all that. So we don't hate them enough, though, man. These sorry motherfuckers. And I'll read something to you here in just a second. It's going to piss you off, too. Call to action. That's going to sound great in arbitration, man. Call to action. What are you talking about? Call to action. Whoever wrote this dumb shit, I'm going to request that they be there in my arbitration. Any arbitration across the country. And look, whoever's over arbitration, I know that it's Pony Boy. He's not doing it. I don't even know why I'm saying this, but in 26, what's going to happen is if you have these reports come out, any arbitration across the country that's going on with 16.7, if there's 1,300 of them, I'm going to request that each one of these motherfuckers be there as a witness. And we're not going to do it by phone. I need you in that seat. I need you in that seat, that hot box, so that when the people that have been in it know what I'm talking about. You want to see people crumble? You want to see managers that are the biggest bullies ever? You want to see them crumble? Put them in that seat in arbitration. I have made plenty of them crumble. I want all of these people that wrote this in 1,300 arbitrations dealing with 16.7, each one of these dumb fucks to be there. And we're going to question them. Talk to me about call to action. What does that mean? Just talk. Hell, it doesn't matter. It's right there. I want to inconvenience these fuckers. I want them in every single arbitration. And I'm going to do that. When I'm director of city delivery, I'm going to make sure that happens. I want people to call me and say, what are you doing? Fuck off. Click. That's how it's going to be. You don't hate them enough, man. You don't hate them enough. I hate these motherfuckers, son. They're going to hate me. Good. Call to action continued. Once EAS arrives on location, A, EAS will verbally notify the employee that they are being emergency placed by EAS. Now, I'm going to read that again. Okay, here's the call to action continued. Once EAS arrives on location, these are the things that they will do, not might do, not may do, not possibly do. These are things that they will do. So they're already telling the supervisor exactly what they're going to do. They're taking all the responsibility away from your immediate supervisor. That's a killer in arbitration, an absolute killer. You're taking everything away. You're taking all the decision making away. So in the informal A meeting, when you go in there, I'm going to have this. Is this what happened? Yes. EAS will verbally notify the employee that they are being emergency placed by EAS. Did you do that? Yes, I did. B, EAS will drive employee back to the office. Did you do that? Yes, I did. C, EAS will obtain and issue emergency placement letter from local labor relations. Did you do that? Yes, I did. I'm going to read that again. EAS will obtain and issue. They're telling them to issue that. Whether you agree with it or not, they're telling them to issue that to you. All the decision making is being taken away from your immediate supervisor. What good is that informal step A meeting? What good is the formal step A meeting? Headquarters is telling them, you think that any of those people are going to are going to decide against headquarters? No. All of this is a charade. All of it is. I'll say it again. See, EAS will obtain and issue emergency placement letter from local labor relations. D, EAS will notify and schedule employee with a date and time for investigative interview. God. On their next scheduled reporting day. Did you do that? Yes, I did. So you did exactly what this little call to action told you to do, didn't you? Yes, I did. Okay. Now, POD will provide all supporting notes, photos, and a statement to EAS. Need your shop steward present. All right? Need your shop steward present. POD will remain on site, oversee emergency placement procedure, and offer support where needed. So the POD will be there to make sure that the supervisor puts you on emergency placement. Right? They're going to stay there to make sure that your supervisor does exactly what they're told to do. They're the acorns. They're the acorns of the Postal Service. That's their IQ. That's what they're good for. Nothing. Come out here. Okay. Put them on emergency placement. Okay. Take them back to the office. Okay. Call labor and have them give them an emergency placement letter. Okay. And then when you do that, make sure you schedule them for an eye on their next off day or next scheduled day. Okay. They're acorns, son. They have no responsibility other than to do what they're told. And I'm gonna read, like I said, I'm gonna read something to you in just a second to piss you off because these lazy fuckers, man. Anyway, POD will complete all required management tools and forms. What I tell you, the acorn. POD will complete all required management tools and forms. MSOT 4584, 4588. POD will have a documented debrief communication meeting with local management. POD will update GIS dashboard of all observations completed. POD will draft an escalation email outlining high-level overview with all supporting documentation to team lead. Team lead will review an escalation. And at the bottom, it says, it's in a little asterisk, the employee supervisor or manager must be the one to place employee in emergency placement, not the POD. Like that matters now. So it doesn't matter. You told them what to do, but they're thinking, hey, you got to come out here and I do it because I can't do it. You have to be the one to do it. I'm going to take all your responsibility away from you, but you have to end up doing it because if you don't, the grievance ain't going, we won't be successful. I hate to tell you, dumb fucks, this. You're not going to be successful because you have an action plan. Telling the supervisor step by step what to do. Debrief communication meeting. We always debrief. After completing all safety observations, POD will confer with local management to report all observations and instructions given. Completed 4584s, 4588s, and 4589s handed over to local management for their files. Now make sure we request all of those, all right? Get a good statement from the carrier as well that they were never informed that they're being watched. They're tree topping us. This is headquarters has done a national tree topping directive, right? An initiative. And so we'll try to bust ass on that. V2 TL follow up next steps on egregious infractions. So now they're egregious, right? One person said they told their manager, hey, people have been walking around with their headphones on for years and y'all have not said anything. But now that headquarters is coming involved, now it's egregious, right? So get a good statement. Hey, management has never said anything to us about having our headphones in. One of the sub questions talks about you cannot just instantly start disciplining me for things that you've been allowed to go on for so long. When was this employee given an official discussion that, hey, headphones from now on, we're going to put you on emergency placement? Because now we have a directive from headquarters saying that these things are egregious, are going to be labeled egregious. No seatbelt, vehicle running not in it, earbuds while driving. These things have been categorized by headquarters as egregious, and the penalty will be immediate 16-7. Okay? So make sure we say, when were you given an official discussion on this? I have not been given an official discussion. Have you been allowed to wear headphones in the past? Yes, I have. That will go great with our 16 when we talk about just cause, okay? Management will say they were present for a stand-up talk. A stand-up talk is not an official discussion in accordance with 16.2. That has to be in private. If I'm giving a stand-up, I'm going to say that there's more than me in the stand-up. So therefore, it's not private, right? So when we're given an official discussion, I'd ask the supervisor, has this carrier ever been given an official discussion on not wearing a seatbelt, on earbuds being in, on leaving the vehicle unattended while it's running? Yes, they have been given an official discussion. When? 2 months ago. So you caught them doing that? Yes. And you gave them official discussion? Yes. Why were they put on 16.7 now? If it's egregious enough for immediate emergency placement now, it would have been egregious enough for an emergency placement back then, but you didn't do that. You gave them a 16.2 discussion. So it cannot be egregious as you state. That's a minor offense, an earbud, a seatbelt. Those are minor offenses. So we'll give them official discussion. You cannot elevate an official discussion to an emergency placement on the next time, if that's making sense, okay? V2 follow-up next steps on egregious infractions. Team lead will escalate accordingly. V2 will require office complete action plan addressing next steps and actions issued. Rapid response team will invite office to call to present action. A rapid response team. These motherfuckers. A rapid response team. We got one out here with an earbud in. Get the rapid response team on the line. We need him out on the street. I'm telling you right now, I'm watching. He's driving around with an earbud in his left ear. What about his right? No, it's just in his left ear. I can send a picture, but he might see me. Get the rapid response team out and get this motherfucker off the street. These dumb shits. We're losing billions, so they say, and you got motherfuckers talking about a rapid response team because I've got an earbud in my ear. Saying, oh, shit. What's the qualifications for a rapid response team? How many donuts you can eat in a 30-minute period? Because you know these fat fuckers don't do shit all fucking day. I've always said it. The only time they will ever incur an injury is if their fat ass falls out of their chair. Right? If they fall asleep and fall back out of their chair or bend over to pick up a donut they dropped and fall out of that motherfucker and bust their fucking head. A rapid response team. You stop that motherfucker. They've been waiting on shit like this all their pathetic lives, man. Can I please be on the rapid response team? Yes. Oh, God. 26 can't get here fast enough, man. You talking about fucking some motherfuckers up, man. Oh shit! Hell, I got tears in my eyes. Oh fuck! That's Rapid response team will invite office to call to present out action plan and address any support needed by the office. For what? Fuck, you told them what to do. Holy shit. And I'd be embarrassed. Identifying safety opportunities. Now, here's another dumb shit. Identifying opportunity carriers. Delivery management operating systems, DEMOS. Driver exceptions. Look for opportunity carriers with reverse, excessive accelerations, decelerations. Now, that's your scanner data. That's your scanner data, spying and using covert techniques. So they've gathered data on us. We didn't address it, right? We didn't address it because we're scared of every fucking thing. Look for opportunity carriers with reverse, excessive accelerations and decelerations. Informed Mobility Safety Observation Tool, IMSOT. Informed Mobility Safety Observation Tool. Look for overdue observations. Retail and delivery applications and reports, radar, 1750 CCA evaluation. Locating carriers on the street. Finding a carrier, DMS and REMS. Delivery management system, DMS. Utilize the route summary to look up carrier breadcrumbs and identify the most recent location. Now, these are things that they use primarily for TRAP. Regional intelligence mail servers, RIMS. Utilize reports in RIMS, e.g. wireless users and routes to locate carriers' most recent locations. So they're tracking us, right? So that they come out and put us off the clock. Conduct street observations, conducting 4584 street observations. Now, they're going to use some of the N39 language right here, 134. Okay. Accompanying carriers on the street is considered an essential responsibility of management and one of a manager's most important duties. All observations should answer a minimum of 5 items in any category before moving on. If on a mounted or curbside route, pull behind the postal vehicle. Always ensure that you stay at a safe distance with headlights and hazards on, abiding by the rules and regulations of the road. It does not say notify the carrier that you're following them. Observe excessive vehicle movement, distracted tasks, e.g. driving while fingering mail, headphones, earbud, utilizing cell phones. Not following prescribed line of travel, unauthorized or extended stops. Unauthorized deviations, review 1564A. Multiple passes at the mailbox, placing all the letters, then all the flats. Conducting 4584 street observations continued. If on a walking foot route, park postal vehicle in a legal parking space, removing keys and turning off lights. Ensure that you, as the observer, have proper postal identification. Observe. Distracted while driving, headphones, earbud, utilizing cell phones, fingering mail. Does the carrier carry postal bag and dog spray? Proper uniform, postal-approved shoes, shirts, pants, hat. Is the postal vehicle in presentable condition with a heat stress sticker on the inside? Large dings, cracks, missing mirrors. Secured vehicle. Is the vehicle's doors closed, locked, parking brake on, curb wheels? Does the carrier take all necessary shortcuts crossing lawns? Call to action. In the event a POD employee observes any of the following: unattended running vehicle, not wearing a seatbelt, distracted driving, fingering mail, headphones, earbud, utilizing cell phone. POD will immediately stop the employee, identify themselves. Ask employee to shut off vehicle, remove key from ignition, and wait for further instruction. POD will contact local office EAS and request immediate support. Once EAS arrives, POD provide all supporting notes, photos, and statement to EAS. POD will remain on site, oversee emergency placement procedure, and offer support where needed. 6, notify verbally that they are being emergency placed by EAS and driven back to the office. 7, emergency placement letter obtained by local labor relations. 8, email drafted outlining high-level overview with all supporting documentation to team lead. and I would request for that documentation. I would request those emails. Right? Any and all information management used, including the emails that y'all sent. If they say they don't have any, we'll make sure that we outline this in our contentions because this is a directive. Email drafted outlining high-level overview. Okay, so we'll request those emails. Team lead will review an escalation. All right, here's another dumb shit. Escalation process, POD escalation. Stop the carrier. Contact local management team. Remain on site until local management arrives. Support EAS as management places employee on emergency placement. Say it again. Support EAS as management places employee on emergency placement. So it's a mandate, right? Email team lead detailing the observations and infractions. Let's request those emails. Team lead escalation. Escalations are sent to the command center. Dr. Collin. So my man, Dr. Collin, he's all over the place, man, fucking with us, right? Doctor. I'm going to read some from him just a second. Elvin Mercado, Raj Singhari, Area Vice President, Area MOI, V2, District Manager, District MOI, Postmaster. So here's all the people that they're going to notify when they catch one of us out on the street with a seatbelt off, with an earbud in, not being used, just an earbud in, or the vehicle running unattended. The command center, Dr. Collin, Alvin Mercado, Raj Zangari, Area Vice President, Area MOI, V2 District Manager, District MOI, and Postmaster. So, shit. Subject line, serious infraction escalation, district name, vehicle-related offenses. Serious infraction escalation. God. I'm writing, here's the PM station manager name. They're telling them what to write. I'm writing to inform you of a safety infraction that occurred today in the office name, POD employee, the name. Observe the following offenses. Select offense, delete others. Unattended running vehicle, not wearing a seatbelt, distracted driving. File up egregious infractions. After team lead has escalated serious infractions, office with distracted driving, no seatbelt, or running an unattended vehicle infractions will be invited to call to present action plan. V2 will require the office to complete an action plan with district MOI system. Call will include the unit's management team, manager of post office operations, manager of operations integration, district manager. Y'all think we got too many managers? You're talking about how much money we've lost? You got 27 fucking managers that are going to be told that I've got an earbud in. Right? But somebody needs to take a look at all this fat. And I'm not just talking about physically. I'm talking about just the fat of the Postal Service. We got 10 managers, 10 people in management. You got to tell that I'm wearing an earbud. That may be too many. I hope they come in here and clean fucking house. They really do. Next steps of safety. Training schedule. And they got your training schedule, so there it is. By following these steps, we're not just reducing accidents, we're protecting lives. Let's make every day, every driver a safe one. Thank you. And from these dumb fuckers. All right, so you got there's your thing. I'm going to have that put up on from arbitration.com. Print each one out and put it in your file, okay? Now, there was a scanner message that came out this week, and I got a screenshot of it. And it says, remember, when driving, pull over to talk on the phone. Bluetooth devices are not permitted when driving. That was the scanner message that came out from headquarters, right? Remember, when driving, pull over to talk on the phone. Bluetooth devices are not permitted when driving. So I'm going to have this put up on from8arbitration.com. For these individuals that reached out and said that they were walking on the floor, some of them were walking on the floor and were put on emergency placement for having a Bluetooth in. Some of them said that they were delivering apartment complexes, not driving. doing apartment complexes, and were put on 16.7 for having an earbud in. Okay? Put this in your file. Put that other thing in your file because it also says when driving. So imagine they're just making shit up as they go now. Okay? So we'll do that. All right? Make sure you put that up. Here's somebody else sent me something. This is an email that was sent to me. Now, I cannot put it in the file. I would like to, but it's an email sent to me. This just shows you where they're coming from. It says, to reiterate from yesterday, any observation where carrier is not wearing a seatbelt, dismounting when vehicle is running, or keys on the ignition, wearing earbuds while driving must be 16.7 immediately. That is the direction that we have from headquarters, CRDO. Make sure the observations we are conducting are ensuring that our employees are working safely. So they're telling you that this is the direction that we have from headquarters. All right? And that's an email. I cannot put that in the file because that is from somebody confidential. But it's telling you that these things, earbuds while driving, must be 16.7 immediately. Here's a person sent me this. Management at this installation placed 2 carriers on 16.7 due to wearing 1 earbud. First carrier was doing cleanup and walking at the office. And the second one, the wife called while delivering mail at an apartment building. And after delivering mail, he ended the call and he started walking to his vehicle, forgot to remove the earbud, not crossing or running. Management saw him. Management are also stating on stand-ups that wearing earbud headphones may be placed on 16.7 because it's an egregious act. I called management, MCS, and postmaster and told them they can't do that. I stated that there was no immediate risk or danger and that they are weaponizing 16.7. My acting postmaster stated it's a safety rule, an egregious act. MCS stated they have to learn. Of course, I wasn't going to back and forth with him. I also told him that the carriers that was caught with earbuds, headphones before was given discipline. Well, all of a sudden it became an egregious act and had to be placed on 16.7. That's a great position. This office allowed carriers with earbuds for so long. They only discipline carriers when they're not making the time they want them to make. It's been addressed several times in a labor management meeting, and supervisors are not consistent with the safety rule, and that's a great contention. And so there's some things to help you with these 16.7s that they're doing, right? So they're going to come out there, waste all this fucking time. They're going to put somebody on 16.7 right here at Christmas, right? They're going to have to pay somebody to do their job. They end up going to have to pay for this 16.7 because it's stupid. So they're wasting fucking money. Why couldn't you just come out and say, hey, get out on the street. If you see somebody driving around with an earbud, immediately stop them, identify yourself, and say, hey, cannot be driving with that earbud in your ear. I'm sorry. That's okay. You cannot be driving with that earbud in your ear, all right? And go to the next one. Hey, I'm so-and-so. Make sure you have your seatbelt on when you're driving. You don't have your seatbelt on, you're sitting on it. Don't do that. Make sure you have your seatbelt on, okay? Why can they not do that? It's because they hate us. They hate us. We do not hate them enough, right? You've got a current administration that's in bed with them, Renfro and Barner. You got a lot of business agents and their little bitch boys that are all over social media that are in bed with them, right? They don't like us because we're too aggressive. They don't like the CLC because they're too aggressive. We need aggression right now more than ever. We don't need little bitch boys running around kissing their business agent's ass who's kissing Renfro's ass. Those days are coming to an end, but damn it, it's going to take about a year or so before that can happen. But yeah, we need to hate them more than we do right now. We need to hate them more. I'm going to read this to you, and then something else. You have this thing that came out in the area and regional update, and if you heard me and Charlie Miller, and again, I appreciate Charlie Miller. He's always a fan favorite. People love when Charlie Miller come on here. And so he was on here and I read this, but this is introducing the city investment dashboard. It talks again about that CRDO, right? We just read their stupid ass report from those dumb lazy fucks that wrote it. And this is what it says. While the CRDO scorecard aligns with the National Performance Assessment Scorecard, the new CRDO City Investment Dashboard uses additional indicators designed to reduce street variance to base and create greater financial stewardship for managing the floor. The key performance indicators include office to 60 minutes. Again, they're talking about a 60-minute office time, an hour office time, right? We've been dealing with that forever. Most of your business agents didn't even get involved. Your president didn't get involved. Pony Boy didn't get involved. They just let them run over us with that. Now, we try to educate people here as much as we could because that's what's going to happen. When they come out with shit, we're going to address it. When I'm director of city delivery and they come out with shit, you're going to have a template next day. That's just how it's going to be. They're going to be case specific. Our office time is going to be addressed the next day nationwide. You're going to grieve it. And even if it hadn't come to your station, we're going to have you prepared to grieve it. These new dumbass memos on the TRAP should have informed us, educated on us about what's coming out rather than, hey, you got a new process, good luck. So it's kind of what happened to us. But office to 60 minutes, street variance to base, that's PET. So PET has a base street time. If you pull up PET on any day, every day will have the same street time. It's a base street time. They want you to have a street standard, which we do not. There is no standard for walking, right? We have no street standard, but they want you to have a street standard so bad they can't stand it. So they have a street variance to base. That means that they want you to have an hour office time, and every day on the street is the same, regardless of volume. If you have 400 packages or 20 packages, every day is the same according to these dumb fuckers who have never delivered one piece of mail. That's how stupid these motherfuckers are, right? And we have doctors running around telling us how to do our job, putting things into place that are causing a toxic working environment, who have never put a piece of mail in a box. I'm a doctor of delivery. I've been doing it for 32 years, so I've got my doctorate in that. So I'm Dr. Walton from now on because I've got my doctorate in actual working and delivering, not on coming up with stupid ass shit like a 60-minute office time or a street variance to base. Sit to SPLY, which don't spell it out, but I'm going to say if it's SIT, they're probably talking about stationary time. To SPLY, same point last year. So, again, they're talking to you about their metrics, our office time, street variance to base, and stationary time, right? We've had to educate everybody on here. Very few business agents have done the first damn thing. Now, I know Region 9 has been all over it, but very few business agents have done anything about it. They've left you to fend for yourself. Renfro and Barner hadn't done the first damn thing. Matter of fact, your president has done more to talk about you being the bad guy than management being the bad guy. That's what we're dealing with. That's what we're doing. They're the good guys to your president. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. I can tell you this. When they were intentionally falsifying our heat records, what did he say to that newspaper that called him? We've seen some discrepancies. Motherfucker wouldn't even say that they're intentionally falsified. Anybody who's ever contacted me, I've told them the motherfuckers are intentionally falsifying our heat records. They're intentionally doing it. When we were all over management's ass because of our brother, Mr. Gates, when this nation was in an uproar because of our brother laying dead in somebody's front yard because of management's negligence, what did your president say? He didn't say anything about them. What did he say? The carriers are wanting a pound of flesh. So you talk about falsifying hip training, what did he say? There are some discrepancies. When the carriers are in an uproar, the carriers are wanting a pound of flesh. When they're talking about them spying on us, talking about stationary times, using 134 against them. We need to be doing that. We need to be filing grievances about them spying and using covert techniques with these scanners that you have signed into existence on these memos. What did he say when people called him or messaged him and wrote him about the issues we're having with it? Those are mere inconveniences. He is on the side of management. The only time you have seen him in the street is what? Enough is enough rallies where we're getting robbed and murdered. He will not get in the street about postal matters. He will not get in the street about the Postal Service. Matter of fact, they will say they will come to your rallies as long as you don't say anything negative about the post office. Those are things that have happened. Why is that? I'm going to read this other thing, and then I'm going to have to get close to being off of here. I got shit I got to do. But I'm going to read this to you that came out this week. Now, you have management, supervisors and managers that don't do the first damn thing all day. They don't do nothing. They don't do shit. Like I said, they have the IQ of a fucking acorn. And that's probably disrespecting an acorn. They're being told what to do every second of the day. They're being told every second of their day, they're being told what to do by another dumb fucker above them. Right? That's another dumb fucker sitting not doing shit. Probably in ops, because those dumb fuckers don't do nothing either. If you ever went into ops, if you ever just acted like you're a janitor or something and went into ops, every single one of them will have their feet on the desk playing golf on their phone or doing something like that. They're the most least productive individuals you'll ever see. And they make all the calls. But here's this thing from NAPS. NAPS, this is postal supervisors, right? Agenda item 5. NAPS has offered suggestions that could improve efficiency in city carrier operations. NAPS asked if in the next NALC contract, can the USPS establish a pace carriers must walk? Paces per minute should be measured by how many steps are taken in 10 seconds and multiplied by 6, which is a minute. Currently, supervisors cannot give expectations on paces per minute. The NALC is telling carriers they do not have to walk fast and can slow down, and there is nothing management can do about it. You're right, bitch. Except cry about it. Except cry about it when you're sitting there eating your Funyuns and drinking your extra large soda, right? Listening to your next telecom, wiping those ding-dongs off your mouth that you ate. That's all y'all do all damn day. And you're going to talk about how many paces I have in a minute? That the NLC is telling you to slow down. I'm telling you to be safe. I'm telling every carrier to be safe. You know why, you dumb shits? It's because some days I come in and I can hump it, man. I can get it. Some days I come in, I'm 55 years old, man. Some days I come in and I can barely fucking move. I've got arthritis in both my hips. My feet hurt, right? And my bag is going to be filled with packages some days. Some days I've got a lot of DPS and a lot of flats in that bag on some days. Some days I'm going to be able to walk fast, and some days I'm going to be able to walk slow. And I will not be disciplined for those days that I just don't feel like it. You know why? Because there's no set pace at which I must walk, you fat, lazy fucks. There's no set pace at which I must walk, regardless of how much y'all cry when y'all are eating y'all's bag full of crystals. That y'all's fat ass has to come out there once a quarter and walk with us because upper masters told y'all to do a $39.99. So y'all fat, lazy fucks have to get up and come out there and watch me on the street saying, he needs to walk faster. Most of y'all couldn't walk with me, no way. Y'all's fat asses would be tired on half the fucking loop. The NLC is telling carriers they do not have to walk fast and can slow down, and there is nothing management can do about it. This mindset is costing the Postal Service money. The 18 and 8 letters per minute and 8 flats per minute casing standard is antiquated and needs to change as well. Instead of 18 and 8, it should be catered to the mail volume as case mail continues to decline. The new formula should be more like 25 and 25. This will get carriers out of the office faster and, coupled with the paces per minute, make city delivery more efficient and improve NPA scores for customer service. Holding carriers to a minimum time standard alone does not improve efficiency or prevent supervisors from giving expectations. It is the carrier's responsibility to notify the supervisor if that expectation cannot be met by submitting a PS Form 3996. And so there you have that from NAPS. So like I said, we don't hate them enough, right? We're the only ones that come in every day and every second of our day is timed. No other craft is like that. No other craft. But we're the only ones that they constantly fuck with every day. Clerks don't have a standard in the office. They can take one tray of letters and take all day to stick it. We're the only ones timed every second of the day, and they constantly fuck with us. Constantly. They lie on us. They cheat us. They steal from us. They assault us. They threaten us. They falsify training, falsify clock rings. They're toxic. They're idiots. And they come up with this shit. They're not going fast enough. Every second of the day, they need to be running. In the office, they need to be running. On the street, they need to be running. And put them on 16.7 while you're at it. We need a new administration, plain and simple. We need people coming in there that are fucking savages. That are fucking savages that are going to put an end to this. And people say, well, you can't do it. We're going to put an end to this. They will not be worried about shit like this. We will give them things to worry about, right? I'm going to talk a little bit about pressure. About pressure, all right? How we put pressure on management. You see a lot of things going on right now about people scared about privatization. That's not going to happen. Now, I don't care what anybody says. They're not going to privatize the Postal Service. They're scared about Trump. When Ronald Reagan was president, you know what the newspapers came out and said? He's going to privatize the Postal Service. Google it yourself. Ronald Reagan privatizing the Postal Service. When he was president, they talked about he was going to privatize the Postal Service, and all the Republicans wanted to privatize the Postal Service, right? When George Bush was president, all the newspapers came out and said that he wanted to privatize the Postal Service. When George W. Bush was president, all the newspapers came out and said he's going to privatize the Postal Service. When President Trump was president the first time, all the papers came out and said that he wanted to privatize the Postal Service. Now President Trump is back in office, and all the papers say he's going to privatize the Postal Service. So every time a Republican gets elected, they're going to privatize the Postal Service, right? And they have never privatized the Postal Service, and it will never happen. And I will say that with 100% certainty. It's not going to happen. The public loves the city letter carrier, and that's why. The public loves the city letter carrier. How do you put pressure on the Postal Service, on Congress and Senate? You make your plight to the news. You have an organization now, this administration, who refused to get in the news. I know that somebody said they had talked with Manny Peralta the other day about, are we going to get out into the streets and get out into the news about the falsification of hip training? We don't do stuff like that. You know that your president and executive vice president have been contacted. They won't talk about things like that. I'm the opposite. I'm going to talk to anybody and everybody that will listen. Anybody that wants to talk to me, I'm going to talk to them because it puts pressure on the Postal Service and it educates the public. If you saw this video that came out maybe a month ago from A More Perfect Union, it had Badmouth Morris in it. I was in it. Mr. Cruz was in it. Another gentleman was in it. And they talked about the plight of the city letter carrier and this joke of a TA that we're getting. And it talked a lot about our suffering, what we go through, that the public doesn't see. As of today, it has 2.6 million views as of today on a More Perfect Union's site. The video on YouTube has 500,000 views, 18,000 likes, 6.1 thousand comments. And if you read those comments, it's very educational to the public. Most of them, majority of them, 90% are saying, how dare they treat the city letter carrier like that? Some saying they need to privatize the Postal Service. You'll always have that clique. They need to privatize the Postal Service. And they get schooled by people saying, who in the fuck's going to do it? You don't need to privatize it. You need to manage it better. They need to get rid of the fat in management. Well, this is a certain thing for the DOGE, the new thing that they're coming out with, this new party. We're not tax funded. It's an educational process when you get us out there, because people think still that we are funded by tax dollars. We're not. We're not funded by tax dollars. You see these comments all over the place down these 6,000 comments, people educating the public on who we are, what we do. There's another gentleman, Jimmy Dore, who has 1.4 million subscribers. He took the video and put it on his YouTube channel. It's got 70,000 views as of today, 5.8 thousand likes, 1.8 thousand comments, educating people about us, what we do, our plight, our struggle, educating people on what the Postal Service is, because people still think we're funded by tax dollars. It's educating people. If you look down through a More Perfect Union's Twitter page, people that were sharing that video, 17.2 thousand views, 9.9 thousand views, 27.7 thousand views, 46.7 thousand views, 64.8 thousand views, 13.2 thousand views, 1.6 million views, 32.7 thousand views, 26.6 thousand views, 16.3 thousand views. You know why that is because the public loves the city letter carrier, and they are interested in who we are and what is happening to us. If you want to put pressure on the Postal Service, you've got to get your people out in the news. You have to get your plight in the news. It has to be done. I'm the exact opposite of this current administration. I'm going to talk to anybody and everybody about what's happening to us. I'm going to do it at 8 o'clock when this gentleman calls me, and he's going to live stream us talking. I'm going to talk about our plight. I want the public to know who we are and what we do. I'm the exact opposite of the administration we have in there today. People are talking about President Trump, like him, don't like him. That's none of my business. But they're saying that he's anti-union, all these things, and whether he is or not, I don't know. But this was put out, and this is one of the things I agree with our president on, Mr. Renfro. It says NALC statement on Representative Lori Chavez DeRaymer for Labor Secretary. And it says NALC President Brian Renfro released the following statement regarding President-elect Donald Trump's intent to nominate Representative Lori Chavez DeRaymer, a Republican from Oregon, to serve as Secretary of the Department of Labor. Representative Chavez DeRaymer is an excellent choice to serve in this pivotal role. In her brief time serving in Congress, she has been a strong ally to letter carriers and organized labor. I'm going to read that again. Representative Chavez DeRaymer is an excellent choice to serve in this pivotal role. In her brief time serving in Congress, she has been a strong ally to letter carriers and organized labor. She is a co-sponsor of the Protect Our Letter Carriers Act, the Federal Retirement Fairness Act, and voted to pass the Social Security Fairness Act earlier this month. She is also a co-sponsor of the PRO Act and the Public Service Freedom to Negotiate Act. Her record proves that she values workers' safety, retirement fairness, and unions. Leadership at DOL is pivotal in safeguarding working conditions such as heat safety and the Office of Worker Compensation, which injured letter carriers rely on. We cannot think of a better person to lead in these critical efforts. NALC appreciates President-elect Trump's choice, congratulates Representative Chaseth DeRemer, and looks forward to her swift confirmation in order to continue our strong working relationship with her to protect letter carriers. Representative Chavez DeRemer is serving in her first term in Congress. She recently lost a tight race to Democratic challenger Janelle Bynum. She previously served 2 terms as the mayor of Happy Valley, Oregon. So to me, you have to get a seat at the table. You have to get a seat at that table. You put pressure on Congress and Senate. You have to get us out there in the public. 2.6 million views will help that, right? It educates people on who we are and what we do. You have to get us out there in the public. That's what we're going to do. That's what I'm doing. Anybody wants to talk to me, I'm talking to them. Putting our story out there for everybody to see what the plight of the city letter carrier is. You have Trump appointing somebody that they never thought would be appointed, someone that's pro-labor on the Republican Party. We need a seat at that table, right? Hopefully that's what we're doing. We're getting a seat at that table. So we're going to put pressure on them constantly, right? We've got to put pressure on the Postal Service. And we'll do that. We'll do that. We got to get rid of this clown we have as president right now and executive vice president that don't believe in such things. But we have to educate the public. We'll do that, right? We'll educate the public. But I'm not going to be scared of privatization. I don't give it a second thought. I just don't. I've never thought about it. It has never concerned me. And I won't let it concern me. I won't think about it. I'll talk about it on here, but I have never concerned myself with privatization. I just don't do it. I just don't do it. I'm not concerned, right? So y'all shouldn't be there. I know a lot of people on social media, there's a lot of shit going on all week on social media, people saying we have to vote yes on this tentative agreement because Trump this and Trump that and privatization this and that. I will never kneel down in front of anybody and ask if I can have scraps off the table. I just ain't doing it. I just ain't doing it. You're going to come at me with some bullshit tentative agreement and try to fearmonger my ass into it. I'm not doing it. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying none of it. I don't think it's a shit TA. 1.3 is a slap in my face. $1 is a slap in the CCA face. Is everything else that goes along with it. It's all concession, no gain. Not one bit of that helps the city letter carrier. It's all concession on our part. And but it's our fault. Fuck, we voted for this dumb fucker. And then in Boston, you had the delegates just kissing this son of a bitch's crack. He lied straight to their face over and over again. They didn't care. So, we have to get rid of that mindset, and we will vote that out. Talking about these MBAs that have these bitch boys in their pockets that are on social media. There's a couple of regions that we already have people going to run against them and get them out of here. You have to vote out cowardice and the good old boy system. We'll vote that out. We'll put hard charges in there. People that hate management like I do and that want to go after management like I do. And we'll give them no quarter like I won't. And we'll vote those out, right? We'll vote those out. And just know, the CLC is here to stay. You're going to hear a lot more from the CLC coming up in the new year. They're waiting for this tentative agreement to kind of de-escalate and get that voted on. And then you'll see us ripping and roaring next year, getting out, going to a lot of places, talking to a lot of individuals, picking up support, doing fundraising, which we'll need to do because it's very expensive, to travel and do mailings and stuff like that. And so we'll get all that underway. I'm not concerned about it. The CLC is going to win this next election. Everybody else will be a close third. There will not be anybody close second. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I think the CLC is going to be overwhelming in this next election. I do. I think people are tired of how we've been going these last few years. The cowardice has kind of taken over this union. You will have those on social media. The establishment will send those people out there. Little bitch boys will be out on social media because the establishment's not going to go down without a fight, right? You're talking about their livelihoods. None of them want to get a satchel, and their uniforms don't fit anymore. So they're against it. And so you'll, you'll see them coming out on social media, but they're temporary, man. Don't get yourself riled up on social media on those people. They're out the door. They're going to be out the door. And we will go to U-Haul and buy a bunch of boxes and mail them to them so that they can put all their shit in it and get the fuck out when we take over in 26. And that's what's going to happen. And we're going to be the aggressors again. We'll be the alphas in that room again. And we're going to go on the offensive. And it's that fucking simple. We're going to go on the offensive. Things like I read to y'all today, we will trample that. And we will go after every single individual that has caused our people harm. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. My teams will be ready to go on the first day because when we win, I'll have my teams in place to go out in the field, and I will pay them to do that. And they will stay out in the field, going after management that have taken these things to task on these 16-7s and this toxic working environments that they've created because of these metrics that some doctor has sent down. And so when they're losing their positions, I'll tell them to write a statement to their doctor and say, thank you for creating such a hostile working environment now that you've lost your job. All right. So anyway, y'all have a very Merry Christmas. I love you very much. I really do. I love you very much. And we're just getting started. Next year, a lot more education. I'm going to start my YouTube channel next year, early January, where I'm going to just do basic just training, case file building. That will be starting next year. I'll also start the podcast every week for the CLC, basic training stuff like I had done when I first started this. Those episodes will be up on the CLC website, getting back into just basic standard training, right? Getting y'all ready, those new stewards, people that have kind of forgotten things as time has gone by, and you're like, oh, fuck, I remember now. I'm going to do that, doing the YouTube, like I said. So we'll be doing a lot of educating starting next year, which will be good. Be good. I'll keep doing this on From A to Arbitration so that I can say fuck and damn and shit and bitch. And that way, those people can stay entertained as well. Those people that enjoy that. Because, I'm a carrier of 32 years, baby. I'm a carrier of 32 years. I have seen it all and have done it all. My record speaks for itself. I could walk away right now, man, and hold my head up high. But I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started. I'm not backing up to nobody, and I don't have to explain myself to nobody. Anybody that don't like me can kiss it where the good Lord splits it. And that's all I can say. That's all I can say, really. Because like I said, my record speaks for itself. I'll put it up against anybody in this country. And I'm just getting fucking started. James Henry is going to set the beast loose on these motherfuckers, man. And I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm energized again. So I love y'all, man. Y'all have a Merry Christmas. Those of you who celebrate Christmas, have a very Merry Christmas, right? If you don't, enjoy the day anyway. Enjoy the day with your family. I will see y'all in 2 weeks, all right? Hey, City Letter Carriers, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. We're just getting started on this shit. We're fixing to tear some shit up. I love you very much. All right. I'll talk to y'all later.